Hi, my name is Bob. I've been working on this 12.2 Lister engine and done some pretty major work. Getting ready to start it for the first time, and wanted to show you a few things for you to try should you find yourself in the same situation and starting one of these engines up after some major work. This engine actually had a broken crankshaft. There was a pulley mounted far out at the end of the crank, and they had a belt that was run very tight. The load on the belt far out created a tremendous moment on the shaft, and it actually broke right in here. So this engine has had the crankshaft replaced. In the meantime, we've had the cylinders off, heads off, gone through the heads, honed the cylinders, fresh connecting rod bearings, and gone through the injection system and so on. Now that we're getting ready to run it, one of the first things you've got to do is, of course, fill the crankcase with oil. We put about 6 quarts of oil in here, but when you fill it, you want to make sure that you fill these troughs. These troughs are necessary to be full so that the dippers on the end of the connecting rod, these little pipes, can go down and pick up the oil. Once you've filled the crankshaft or crankcase, you want to rotate the engine. When you rotate the engine, you'll actually operate the oil pump, and you can confirm oil pump operation by removing this plug and seeing oil coming out the top. In some cases, there's a pressure gauge there. Once you've got oil there, come back over and rotate the engine, and you can confirm that there's oil coming out of these pipes. Now, before you start the engine, you should actually go in there with a hand oil can, lubricate the top of each main bearing and the center bearing, as well as the connecting rods. Also, before you start the engine, there's a brass plug down here by the number 2 or the injector on this cylinder. You remove this plug and you put about 1/4 of a pint of oil in there, and that lubricates the tap that's in here. While you have your oil can, lubricate all the linkage, make sure everything is operating free without any binding or any sticking. Also, when you're lubricating, you'd want to lubricate the tappets, lubricate the push rods, fill the grease cups up with grease, lubricate the rocker arms and the valves. Now, next thing would be to address the fuel system. We've put a temporary tank on here, actually just fastened temporarily. That's because the place that sells hose clamps is closed and today is Saturday. I'll have that taken care of next week. Want to purge all the air out of the fuel system. Purge the air out of the injection pumps by loosening the screw. Purge both sides, and then of course purge the injector line. When the lines are free of air and the injector is free of air, you'll actually hear it creak when you rotate this engine. So we'll try to do that. And there's the creaking sound that you hear when the injectors are firing properly. We're only going to run this engine for just a few moments to make sure that the mechanical issues are addressed. We're not using a cooling system just yet, so I'll keep the runtime very, very short. Later on, after if the engine sounds good, everything works right as it should, we'll tear the engine down and it'll be repainted. But that should address the major issues: fuel, lubrication, cooling, and everything's mechanically in good shape. So in the next short video, we'll see if it runs. Thanks for watching.